Okay, this is going to be your first step. We're going to need to remove the caliper connections to release the wheel. So basically just pull the rubber part back, slide this out and it'll pop out and release your calipers so they can open up all the way. This is Danny with Amp Bikes, and today we're going to do an install on a direct drive and also a gear drive on a Townie, which is a really comfortable bike to use. And the first step we've already done, we've already disconnected the caliper so we can remove the wheel. The second part is what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip the bike upside down so we can put the new hub motor on and work on it. These are very light bikes, really easy to work with. So let's adjust this so you can better see. This one has quick release hubs. Simply pull it off to the side. Now what we've changed, I've got the new tire on this one already. What we've changed is, I've had to redesign these things 3 times. This is the 4th iteration for the direct drive motors. And it has a basic bolt-on pattern for any disc brake. So basically, if your bike has a disc brake, you simply pull it off, bolt it right onto here, and you're good to go. There's no adjustments, no anything. We messed around with the, there was a thread-on type, so, and it never worked, but it was a constant adjustment, and mine ended up stripping going down the hill because there were such fine threads. But in any case, we finally got this up and running, filed a patent for it to kind of protect us. We've got people after us here everywhere. And the other thing we've changed is, in my old video, we showed the wire coming out of the left-hand side. This one has a quick release, I'll show you that in a second. But again, the wire is always going to face towards the top of the bike, which towards the handlebars. But it's going to go off the right-hand side of the bike if you're sitting upright on the bike, which is this side. We're going to see how this thing fits in the Townie. And the Townies are usually a perfect fit. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand tighten these down because later I'm going to have to remove them and put the torque arm on. But we can go ahead and flip it back over now. Okay, I've already done it. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go ahead and get an Allen key, an Allen wrench, and remove your brakes, your existing brakes, your existing shifter, and install the slide on the thumb throttle. What I've done here is this one, the gear shifter was on the right hand side. I simply put it on the left hand side. The numbers are upside down, but it seems to work a little bit better with the thumb throttle. And basically, let me show you guys an easy way to pull your grips off, because I get a lot of people having a hard time with that. First of all, there's one way to do it, is you can peel it up and squirt some hairspray in there and it'll just come right off. Same thing on both sides. Secondary, if you have a compressor, you can do this. Okay, if you happen to have a compressor, there's a really easy way to do this. There's a hole in each end of the grip. You can simply push it in one side, hold your finger on the other side. I'm coordinated enough to do this. And then blow it right off. Glue this side right off. And on this side, I simply hold my hand over the end, and it'll do the same thing. Glue it right off. I normally push them off, but Vern might just show me that trick. That's what we did. I've already removed these. Like I said, you're going to need an Allen key to remove your existing brakes. And I'll do some close-up pictures of how to remove the cables. But basically what we've done is we've already put on our new brakes with the cutoff switch. And what you want to do, I'll put the brakes back or the grip back on later. You want to get this stuff set up not 100% tight, but loose enough so you can adjust them so you can feel where it's comfortable for you. So what I've done here is I've installed the thumb throttle. Everything's still a little bit loose, but it'll stay so I can tighten it. I want to get everything so it's as comfortable as possible, so that there's no danger in riding, and that it's really comfortable for me to use. And I've already set that, so we can go ahead and crank these down. I'm going to go ahead and crank those down because I'm already set. Okay, I've got everything tightened up now. I already had the brakes with the cutoff switch installed on here, and I just zip tied them up to keep them out of the way for the video. And the next thing you want to do is you want to start routing all your wires. First of all, you want to hide them the very best you can. We've got the three different wires here. We've got the thumb throttle, the brakes, so you've got 3 wires coming out, and I've got a handful of zip ties here, so I'm just going to start cleaning them up. Getting them up out of the way. We're going to cut off the zip ties later after everything's done and set, or cut off the excess. And I always try to hide my wires the very best I can. So I try to put them under things. Okay, we've got these kind of tightened up and out of the way. The Townie, it's an easy bike to work with, but a lot of the other bikes, it's going to get in the way of turning. So you want to leave yourself a little bit of slack at your gooseneck. This one happens to have a really odd gooseneck. I'm used to the old school one. But I'm just going to leave myself a little bit of slack and go right around the frame. Make sure that my wheel turns completely either way. Now I'm going to tighten down these zip ties, but I'm not going to tighten them down 100% because I'm going to want to make the wires as clean as possible. But for now, we're trying to get into the back of the bike. If there's a lot of bends in your frame, you're going to need more zip ties just to keep them hidden. And it's always a really good idea to keep your stuff clean, all your wires in line. So you know what's going on what, so you don't have some kind of a tangled mess. Oftentimes I get emails from people that they've wrapped around their frames and got a tangled mess and they can't figure out what's going on, and it ends up being a big deal. So it's easier to just keep things clean. I think one more ought to do it to the back here. Okay, now we've got all 3 wires all the way to the back of the bike. This bike is a complete kit. I've already installed the rack. There's a PDF on the site that shows how to install the rack. It's really simple. We do have 1 wire here, it's a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and throw 1 more zip tie right here. Okay, now everything is fairly hidden. I'm going to tighten these down just a little bit more. That way I can give them some pull on them a little bit so they're a little bit straighter. Okay, now we've got all our wires to the very back of the bike. Next thing we're going to cut that out. Okay, now we've got all our wires to the back of the bike. And what I like to do is just leave them back here until we figure out where we want to put our speed controller.